So, okay, great. So I'm here with Isabel. She's our solutions engineer that built this nice solution that we will present. But let's dig in. Some words about the hug for those of you that are not here for second or third time. We have this because we want to help the community of nonprofit, especially folks that are in the social impact space that want to learn, that want to share and solve real challenges using HubSpot CRM as their tech stack. So we want to help you whether you're just exploring the platform, trying to make it work, or looking for fresh and brand new ideas, like maybe this one can spark your mind. And HubSpot can be a game changer for managing donors, engaging volunteers, and driving your impact forward because we work with some big nonprofits and we know how HubSpot helped them in their mission. Okay, we also have a Slack space, dedicated nonprofit hug Slack space. So you're welcome to scan this QR code and you can automatically join. And in that space, we have something that's called the Nonprofit Hub Vault, where we share templates, ideas, solutions. You can also submit your pothole or a win of the day, and happy to grow that community. We are close to hitting 100, so we just want to like bring it there, and then maybe next year at Inbound we can have a nonprofit hug meetup. So join, whether you're a digital novice or a seasoned operations leader, we are here to support missions like yours. Before we kick off with the webinar, just some housekeeping so you know what's coming next. So this is being recorded. We will share the recording. We will answer questions. Please use the Q&A, not the chat pane. You can use the Q&A, put the questions there, and I will try to respond to some of them while Isabel is presenting the solution, and also upload the ones that you want us to go to first. We envision leaving 15 to 10 minutes at the end for answering any questions, so just please put it in the Q&A. Okay, so let's jump into some intros. Some of you know me from LinkedIn or some other HubSpot channels. I'm a head of enablement and training here at Digital Reach and Nonprofit Tech Shop. I've been doing HubSpot for more than 9 years. I built a super admin bootcamp for HubSpot Academy, co-created it. And I also brought Giving Tuesday, that was 2 days ago, to Croatia, and was a Giving Tuesday Croatia leader. So I worked in the nonprofit space, and I want to share my knowledge with you, but also add HubSpot to it. So I will kick it to Isabel, and she can take it from there.
Thanks, Stepan. Hi, everyone. I'm Isabel. It's good to digitally see everyone. So as Stefan said, my name is Isabel. I am a South African, but I'm living in Germany, and then I am working for an American company. So yeah, talk about international. The slide says it all. I am a solutions engineer at Digital Reach, and finding solutions is the name of the game. My extra niche speciality is data-related problems. So I love data and everything data-related and finding solutions to those types of problems. So today's webinar will contain a hands-on demonstration. So feel welcome to fire up your HubSpot and work along. Otherwise, if you just want to grab a coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, you are more than welcome. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so personalized year-end giving statements. So building these year-end giving statements can roughly be broken into three main sections. So the first section is our data foundation in the form of properties. So this is basically the foundation of the solution and to store the right type of data in the right properties, because without this foundational step, the module and subsequent email that uses this module cannot work their magic. And something that I didn't add here was also to make sure that your data is in the right pipeline and there are associations between all your contacts and the deals. Okay, so building on this data foundation is to set up the custom module. So this is the whole body, the main worker of the solution. So this module will act as a messenger between the data and then the final email. So, and then the final part is actually constructing the email to your specifications, to what you want the email to look like. But then if this module is inserted, it will go fetch the correct data. Okay, so building the data foundations. So as I've now said, this is the very beginning of the solution. So if the module is basically, it's not a wizard that with a wave of the wand can retrieve the relevant data. As I've said, it's more than a messenger that collects the data from predefined, we can call them drop-off points. And these, the properties you create for your contacts and your deals, these are basically the drop-off points. Okay, and if these properties aren't set up properly, our messenger module will not know which data to fetch and to deliver to the email as it is being sent. Okay, so basically, the action steps for building the data foundations is to ensure that the relevant data is stored in the properties in your HubSpot. And then, as I've said in the very beginning, ensure that your deal to contact associations are correct and up to date. And then also to ensure that that you know in which pipeline your deals or gifts. I'm speaking about deals because this is how they are reflected in HubSpot, but you can use your own terminology here, gifts or donations or whatever. So only 4 properties are needed. So whether a deal is tax deductible or not, with what the donation year is, and then the contact properties are the total donations and then the total tax deductible donations. I'll go into more details in these properties now, but then my pro tip is to, as far as possible, use calculation and roll up properties as well as property syncs. They are a very reliable way of keeping your properties up to date without having to necessarily rely on a workflow, because the more moving parts there are to something, the more chance there is for something to go wrong. Okay, so I am quickly going to go jump into HubSpot because I think that will be a little bit more informative than just these screenshots. So first off this is now a little bit smaller. So let me just make this a bit bigger so that we can all see what's going on. So the first property is a property that records the donation year. So this is important to filter your deals by to make sure that we are dealing with the correct year. This is a calculation property, which returns a number. It returns an unformatted number, and then basically it's a very simple calculation. That's an if statement. So if closed one is true, then it returns the year of the close date. So just to test this quickly, so let's take today, and then if we say is closed one is true, then you can see it returns 2025. And then if closed one is false, then it returns nothing. So that's a nifty little property to have. The next deal-based property is basically just whether it's tax deductible or not. Oh, something that's very important to note while I see it here is this internal name. So these internal names are set as you save these properties. And this, you'll see my internal name here has a test because this was a test property I initially set up to test the solution. And then I removed the test to make it more readable or not as tasty as you want in our demo portal, but it is still on the internal name. So that's just why that discrepancy is there. Going to the field type, you see that it is a basic yes, no checkbox property in this instance. This may look different in your portal. It may be a property that says whether a donation is a DAF donation or not, a donor advised fund donation, but just something to indicate whether it's tax deductible or not. Then moving on to our contact-based properties, our 2 contact-based properties. These are totaling the donations made by each contact. So again, just note the internal name. These two properties will have to be recreated every year. So this can then also basically serve as a little bit of an audit to see in past years how much a contact has donated. Yeah, so going to the field type, this is a roll-up property. I love roll-up properties. They are very, very cool. So basically the roll-up type is a sum. It returns a currency, and then the associated record type is a deal. In this instance, it doesn't take association labels into account. If you have specific association labels between your deals and contacts and you only want to use those, then you can also just choose specific. You can do, this is almost like a bit of a pre-filter. And then it's just choosing the associated record property. So amount is going to be summed. And here is what makes roll-ups my favorite, is these conditional statements, which make them very, very unique. So here I said that if this condition is met, then the roll-up will be calculated. So the donation year, which we just handled 2 properties back, must be equal to 2025. Now, when this is recreated every year, you can just set this to 2026 for next year. So you just go 2026. I'm not going to click there now because it may change a few things on the portal, but then you can just save it as 2026. Yes. And then finally, our tax deductible donations. This is basically the same, also a roll-up property. The only main difference being is there's a condition that's tax deductible is equal to yes. And then, yeah, it will only sum those deals that are tax deductible is equal to yes, and the donation year is equal to 2025. All right. So we've handled those 2. Then the next step is setting up the custom email module. So first off, what is a custom module? In this instance, it is a reusable plug-and-play block inside of the HubSpot emails. It lets us display dynamic, personalized data that the standard email tools can't do. It pulls information directly from the CRM records in, like I said, in our use case, specifically the donation history. It automatically formats data into tables and then summarizes and personalizes the text. It ensures that every email is accurate, up to date. And then finally, it reduces manual work. So it makes your life easier to move forward. Yeah. So setting up the email module, how do we do this? At first off, you get a fright because this is code. And do you need to know how to code? And the answer is luckily no. You do not. You just need to know how to edit this module skeleton. We will share this, I think, afterwards in a post-webinar document. So yeah, the module I'm editing now, you will receive and be able to edit as you wish. And then, yeah, so I think now it is time for the demo. Oops. Okay, so how to start setting up a demo. Basically, you go here to your content, and then you scroll down to Design Manager. And then once you open up Design Manager, you say, create a new file. What file would you like to build today? We are going to build a module. And then we say next. I'm going to call this our Hug demo for the year-end statements. I like to save them in my root folder. We will be using this in emails, and then we're going to save this as a global module. What this means is wherever you use the module, you just edit it in one place, and then that edit will automatically update across everything, so you don't have to go into every single email or module template that you use it to update it. Okay, and then we say create. And then you are met with a blank page. The first thing I like to do is to label it. So let's just call it a Hug year-end statement module. And then here, when you hover over it, it says this label is displayed in the editors, defaults to the module name of empty. So you can leave this empty, but We've now named our module. And now we are going to copy over our email module. Here it is. So I'm just going to copy over. This is the one that we will be sending to you. And then here, we save this. Okay, now it is going to be edit time. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so that I can see everything. Perfect. So basically, I'm just going to give a very high level overview. I'm not going to take it line by line and explaining which every single line does. You'll see it's highlighted in red. These are our problematic lines, but this is just because it has filler headings and stuff in here that I'm going to remove now as we fill out this module together. But the first line, what's important is it stores the record ID of our contact. The second line is where it filters the deals. So it goes via the CRM associations. There it uses the record ID we are setting up there. Here it just says it's a HubSpot defined object. This for then links it to deals. I'm not too 100% sure what, I think contacts is 1 and companies is 2 and whatever, but deals is number 4. And then here, we are now going to start filtering and customizing the module. So this needs to be in quotation marks, these little arrows. I've placed everything that you need to edit in those little side-by-side arrows, but these need to be in quotation marks. Our donation year property is going to be equal to 2025, equal 2025. And then the pipeline stage, so the pipeline stage is the deal stage of your property. So we are now going to edit that. I'm going to quickly show you where to go find this. So this deal stage in, and then it's going to say donated and comma, this is a number. This number is the internal reference number to the deal stage. So when you go into your deal stages, on your deal object into that property. This is our demo account, so we have a lot of things we test here. But here you can see if it's just a normal sales pipeline, where that number is, you can just say closed 1 and closed 1. I said donated and then that reference number. So that's where that information lives in your portal. And then we want to order by our close date. So then we just go here and we say and order by equals close date. Yes, okay, comma, that's fine. In the next, after this comma, we want to have the properties we want to sync with or bring over from the deals. I'm just for this demo, I'm just going to construct a very basic table, only with like 3 columns. You can add as many columns and properties as you want, but in this instance, it's only going to be 3, so 2 quotation marks. We want to bring over the close date or the date the gift was received. Then we want to have our tax deductible. So this is now with those internal names I mentioned in the beginning. So I like to just go and copy and paste from our internal names just to make sure I don't do a typing error. So the tax deductible test, and then we want to bring over the amount. Okay, so now that is going to go fetch the correct deal properties that is associated to the contact. This little section here is just setting our brand colors. So if you know the RGB values of your brand or your company, you can just put those in here and that will change. That will just change the color of the table at the end. Our next step, this is now just formatting things, formatting the table. And then we are now going to edit our headings. So this is the headings of the table. And yes, so this one, accidentally removed a little arrow that needs to be there. So there needs to be that arrow, and this needs to be date. And then the same thing for that one. That is going to be our tax deductible. So tax. And then finally our amount. Okay, I'm just double checking that everything is okay and we won't get an error. That's fine. The design manager is nice because it gives you these little red lines, but errors always sneak in. In this next section, we are now going to, where this column 1, column 2, column 3 is, we now need to also just specify the information that is going to be filled into those columns. So the first one is the close date. So I just copy it from up there to make sure we are all aligned. And then that tax deductible is our column 2. And then our amount is column 3. So what happens if you want to switch around tax deductible and amount? You can just literally cut and paste them and switch them around like this. And in this instance, you just need to switch them around. Otherwise, the tax deductible information will sit under the amount column. If you want to add an extra column, you can just copy this, press enter, paste it, and then add your column. Just remember, whenever you add a column here, you need to tell the module to bring over that information from the deals. And then you also need to copy paste this last line and then add the deal dot, the internal name of the information you want to retrieve. Okay. Also, if your module is giving you errors, you're always welcome to go copy this and paste it in your LLM of choice. I like to use ChatGPT because that's just the most approachable to me, and just say, this is the module I'm doing. I don't know what's wrong. Can you help me? And it's quite good at like problem solving for you, just so you know. Okay, but going to the end, now we just have our bottom line texts. So this is the text that will be displayed at the bottom of our tables and where we will show the totals. So in this instance, let me just see here. Yes, so in this instance, we now just want to say the total 2025 tax deductible donations. And then in this instance, we now just go and make sure that we have the correct data. So it's contact. So we want to pull the information from the contact dot, and then here is the important bit of the internal name. So this is our tax deductibles. We go there. Like I said, I like copy paste because then you're not making any typos. And then just because of neatness, I like it to be in one line. And then the other bottom line, you can just copy from up top here. We now just want our total donations. So total 2025 donations. And then again, we just say contact dot. So contact dot. And then we go and copy the internal name. Oh no, this is our deal. Total donations, we just copy that. And then we paste it in here, our total donations. And there, the module has now been, the skeleton has now been filled in. And then we just see, we need to put it, this is an important bit because otherwise it's not going to appear. We need to use this for use this module for programmable emails. And then you just say agree to turn on. And then we publish our changes. Okay, so now the module is basically built. And now we are going to start with the last bit of our little webinar, and that is setting up the custom email template. So basically, preaching to the choir here, we all know why it's important to send the year-end statement. So it's the final opportunity to engage with our donors or givers before the end of the year. It may encourage last-minute gifts, and it also then strengthens the donors' relationships. It reinforces the impact and gratitude, something I didn't add here. It can also serve as a method of transparency with our donors, which is always appreciated. And then obviously it helps the donors and gifters with their tax deductibles before the year end. Okay, so key elements of a strong year-end email: a clear, heartfelt thank you, a simple explanation of the impact their support enables, and then it gives a personalized giving summary, and then branded and visually clear design. So going to our email, this is the end product. And then just going back to editing to see how this works. So here is the module. I'm going to delete this so that you can, and then I'll insert it together. So here you can just add the logo of your brand. Here is a personalization token. So it's going to pull the first name of the contact to which you sent this. You can just say whatever you want. Thank you for everything and your support. And then below we have a quick year summary, and then another personalization token, just something to add the personalization tokens. You can just, when you click on a text module, you just say hi, and then here it's personalized. It's a contact type, and then you can just let's just add the last name. There we go. And then it's the last name. And then to find the module we just made, we go to add, and then it should be here. Let me quickly refresh because I think it didn't pick up. Show all. Oh, here it is. Hug yes module. What is that one? Yes. Yes, there we go. So here is, if you can't find it here because it's been recently used, you can also find it here. So then you basically just go and you drag this module into your email, and then it will appear like this. So here we can just see that the tax deductibles is picking, the contact-based properties are picking up. But if we want to test to see how this works, we go to preview and test, preview as a contact. And this is our demo portal. So we have some demo data here for us. But yeah, so Mr. Clark Kent, oh, interesting. It's not picking up. I wonder why. What is different? HubSpot defined. Hug demo, yes. Yes. It should work. I wonder why it's not. Sorry, everyone, but this just sometimes happens.
You're good. You're good, Isabel. It's technology, so
Yes, yes,
it's
yes.
good to see live debugging and
Yeah.
logic here.
So I'm just now quickly looking at all just like little stuffies, like these little quotation marks. Are they all in the right place? Is everything picking up as it should? I can also just fall back on another one. This looks fine. That looks fine. Table heading, nothing changed there. Date, nothing's the matter there. That still looks fine. This looks fine.
While you digging into it, so yeah, Isabel mentioned something good, and that's like if you're having any issues doing this, screenshot it, put it in GPT, Claude, ask it to debug it for you, and probably it will help you. And don't stress about it because it's technology. A little thing can just like be missed, or it's maybe like a refresh needed or something. So yeah, but there are no questions in the Q&A while Isabel is debugging. So if you do have any questions, just put it in the Q&A section. Happy to answer them. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, module. Okay, taste. Ah, let's go and try again. There we go. It was probably just a little bit of a quotation mark that didn't go right somewhere. Or it could have just been it didn't update in time, but here we are. Then it looks like this. Mr. Kent was very generous. He gave quite a few donations in 2025. And here you can see our total 2025 tax deductible donations is $410. And then the total donations he gave is $655. And here we can see what the dates are. Like I said, dummy data, everything was on the same date. But yeah, so here is our final module. Feel free to screenshot it if you would like. But yeah, I think that is it from my side, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Hope that you learned something new or this solution sparked your mind. You can now see a one pager that you can download. Just scan the QR code uh, and let us know if you're building it. Reach out to us on our Slack community or LinkedIn, or you can also reach us in the HubSpot nonprofit community, and let us know if you're building this solution because it's close to end of the year, and as Isabel said, it's the right time to delight your donors, enforce those that connection, be transparent, and also help them save time with this little email solution that they can just like cross-reference and use. But I don't see any questions in the Q&A pane. So please, if you do have any questions, let us know. We can answer it. Also, in the chat, you can also put some like new topics that you would like us to cover for the next year. We are already filling out the calendar with topics and what we want to do, but we also encourage that you let us know like what's the topic or a pothole or a problem that you would like to see solved live. And once again, join the Slack community. Isabel, if you can just like go to the QR code of the Slack community, because we are building that for nonprofits and we want to make it grow. So we help each other and how to use tech efficiently here at Digital Reach and Nonprofit Tech Shop. Okay, we'll wait a couple more minutes if somebody has a question. If not, hopefully this was fun, but it was also something new. And okay, Matt has a question. How is the data getting into the deals? Does HubSpot take the donations, or is this coming from a third-party donation platform? So I can tackle this, and then I can pitch it to you, Isabel. So yeah, Matt. So there are a couple of things you can do. You have third-party donation platforms. One that we like to set up our customers with is Fundraise Up. It's very easy to set up. You can build uh, modules that are just embedded on your website. It has also AI built in, so you can match donations from like previous donations of your donors. And then once somebody donates, you just map it to HubSpot. It's a native integration, and it goes to the deals inside HubSpot. So, for example, if I donate $200, the Funders app will capture my email, the donation amount, and then that goes to HubSpot. We also had a webinar previously to this, where I tackled the Funders Up integration and mapping. So you can see that on our YouTube channel, or just let us know in Slack and we can help you. If you're doing like directly from HubSpot, HubSpot has a payment system, so you can also check that out if you want to use that. So depending what's your tools of preference, as I said, maybe look at Funders Up. I think they have some um pretty good pricing for nonprofits. They're specialized for nonprofits, and they're always involving the tool, and it's pretty handy to use. You can also do more. Uh, Based on my experience, uh, most nonprofits we work for, the from smaller to bigger ones, use FundraiseUp because it you don't need to be tech savvy to set it up. You can build a campaign on it, match it to HubSpot. So, for example, if you want to see your campaign efforts and how it contributed to the overall donations, it's pretty easy to use. You can embed the module, the donation module on your website or any page. You can also make it so it's like people can add tributes and more. So hopefully that answers your question. So FundraiseUp, it's usually a go-to tool. Can you embed a FundraiseUp module in an email? Yeah, I don't believe you can embed it in an email. You can share a link to it. So I'm like 99% positive, and the reason is because usually it's like the email providers maybe think that is spammy. So like your email, like uh, the domain health can be in fact like impacted on that. But I can check that, and we can continue that on Slack community, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. I can check to be 100% sure. Maybe they updated something from the last time.
And
Okay.
Stepan, just to add with what you're saying, you can also, if you have like cash donations or something in HubSpot, you have a form where you can just manually fill in the details and get that information also into HubSpot. Or if you have like an old legacy system on Excel or something, you can also just like flat file import that data into HubSpot. And then you also have access to all the HubSpot capabilities for that data as well of those donations and contacts here.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much, Isabel. That. So yeah, Matt. Did we answer all the questions, or there's a couple more? Yo, great. Yeah, we're here to answer those questions, especially if you're new to HubSpot. And yeah, encourage you to join the Slack community, and we are there. We are active. We want to build the best HubSpot uh, for nonprofits, and that's why we opened the HubSpot for Nonprofits Vault to share the templates, the guides, like all the links, everything that we are doing and seeing while we are like doing this day to day. Yeah. Okay. So don't see any more questions, but yeah, I think we can wrap it up. It was fun. It's a Thursday afternoon for some of us. So yeah, see you on the next nonprofit hug. If you find this interesting, please share us on your social channels. We just want to grow this. And thank you so much, Isabel. Any last words before we wrap this up?
Not really. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.